I am the heir to the Blackwood crime family. To protect me, my mother adopted and trained 10 orphan girls from childhood to be my personal bodyguards. When I turned 21, my mother presented me with a command. Choose one of them as your wife, she said, her tone leaving no room for argument. My heart had already made the choice years ago. Without hesitation, I pointed to Sarah, the strongest among them, the one whose quiet strength had always drawn me in. We married soon after, but happiness, it seemed, was not meant for me. A rival syndicate captured me within weeks. They chained me in a flooded cell, the iron biting into my shoulders as icy water crept up my chest. With my fading strength, I called the only person I trusted, Sarah. Help me. Her response cut deeper than any knife. Damien, stop pretending, she said, her voice flat. Your tracker shows you're still at the villa. Is this another excuse to keep me from seeing Leo? Her cold laughter echoed through the static as the water swallowed me whole. My lungs burned, my vision dimmed, and the last thing I heard was her voice fading into the dark. Then I woke up. Same room, same morning. The day my mother told me to choose a bride. 10 photographs were laid out on her desk. This time I didn't hesitate. I chose the one everyone always ignored. Phoebe, I said. My mother's brows rose slightly. Not Sarah. You've always favored her. I said nothing. I could still see Phoebe's terrified face from my last life. The way she had run toward me through gunfire. The way she had died trying to save me. Mother studied me for a moment, then nodded. As you wish. Outside, the air was sharp with sea salt. I stepped into the courtyard just as Leo, the housekeeper's son, appeared. He dropped to his knees. Sir, please, he begged, his voice shaking. You have everything. I only have Sarah. Let me be with her. My pulse quickened. This hadn't happened before. Could he remember, too? Before I could speak, Sarah stormed out. She pulled Leo to his feet, glaring at me as if I were her enemy. Damien, stop tormenting him. Just because he's beneath you doesn't mean you can treat him like dirt. The same old pain stirred inside me. In every life, she never saw me for who I was. I don't care if you choose me again, she snapped. I'll never be yours. Her words were still hanging in the air when a van screeched to a stop outside the gate. Gunfire erupted. Sarah moved instantly, sprinting toward me. But when Leo cried out in pain and dropped to the ground, she faltered. In the blink of an eye, she turned and shielded him instead. Bullets rained down, and when one came for me, someone tackled me to the ground. Phoebe. When the chaos faded, she stood over me, shaking with fury. She turned on Sarah. Did you forget why Mother raised us? If something happened to the young master, what then? Sarah's jaw tightened. Leo was shocked. I couldn't just leave him. Phoebe's expression hardened. So you abandon your duty for a man who can't protect himself? Sarah's guilt flickered for an instant, then vanished. She lifted Leo into her arms and strode away without another word. Phoebe looked at me, eyes blazing. That's the woman you trust. The one who leaves you the moment danger strikes. I met her gaze. I didn't choose her. Her breath caught. Then who? I only smiled. She'd find out soon enough. Days later, Sarah came to my room. Her eyes were bloodshot, her voice trembling. Please, Damien, give me the life-saving serum. Leo's dying. That serum was my father's legacy, the last thing he created before illness took him. A formula meant to save me from poison or wounds no doctor could cure. Sarah pressed on. I'll marry you. Just give it to him. This is all your fault anyway. Her words barely reached me. I felt only emptiness. I'll do whatever you want, she said desperately. If you give it to him, I'll never see Leo again. I opened the safe, took out the vial and tossed it to her. Take it. But after today, don't ever come back. Not in this life or the next. Sarah froze for a heartbeat, eyes wide, but said nothing. Clutching the vial like a lifeline, she turned and bolted from the room, desperate to save her beloved Leo. I leaned against the wall, the weight of reality pressing down on me. My pulse was steady, but my chest felt hollow. How blind I had been, dying once without ever seeing who she truly was. For days, she stayed by Leo's side, refusing to leave his room. Then one evening at dinner, my mother cleared her throat and spoke calmly, her voice carrying through the grand dining hall. In a few days, we'll celebrate Damien's 18th birthday. During the event, I'll officially announce his fiancée. The 10 women at the table reacted differently. Phoebe said nothing, quietly sipping her wine until the glass was empty. Sarah's fork paused midair, her expression flickering between panic and guilt as her eyes darted toward Leo's closed door. The others, oblivious, smiled and congratulated her. Congratulations, leader. You'll finally be part of the family. Take good care of Damien for us. My mother said nothing, her faint smile only fueling their assumptions. By the end of the night, everyone believed Sarah was to be my bride. That illusion shattered the next morning. Leo disappeared. Sarah stormed into my room like a hurricane, her eyes wild. She grabbed me by the collar. "Where is he?" she hissed. "What did you do with Leo?" "I agreed to marry you. Wasn't that enough? Why can't you just let him go? He's terrified of the dark. He needs me." I shoved her hands away. "Are you insane? I have no idea where he is." Her face contorted with rage and desperation. "Don't lie to me. You're jealous. You had him taken, so I went back out. Didn't you?" She was trembling now. "Please, Damien, bring him back. Once we're married, I'll send him away. I promise." My patience snapped. "Sarah, I told you I didn't choose you. I don't care who you love or where you run. But if you barge into my room again, I'll tell Mother myself." That made her freeze. She turned and bolted, still shouting Leo's name down the hall. By dawn, she returned, dragging the weak, trembling Leo behind her. He collapsed into her arms, pale and shaking. Sarah glared at me with venom. "If you're angry, take it out on me. Why drag him into this? If you keep tormenting him, Damien, I swear I'll never marry you." She stormed out, clutching Leo as if I were a monster. I watched her go, my chest tight with quiet disbelief. I had once died for that woman. That night, Leo appeared at my door. He stood in the dim light, his face twisted with jealousy and hate. "You remember, don't you? He's that. You were reborn to." I said nothing. His voice cracked. "Why do you always get everything? The family, the power, the wealth. Even Sarah. You were born with everything. Damien and I had nothing." He stepped closer, trembling with fury. "The only thing I've ever had is her love. And now you're taking that too. She just told me she's sending me abroad because of you." Then, before I could react, he lunged forward, gripping my arms and throwing himself over the balcony railing, dragging me with him. The world spun. Pain exploded through me. When we hit the ground, Leo screamed beside me, writhing in agony. Moments later, the guards and the girls came running. When Sarah saw Leo lying broken, she turned on me with unrestrained fury. Her hand cracked across my face. "What is wrong with you?" she screamed. "What did Leo ever do to deserve this?" I didn't answer. Two of the others pulled her back, whispering harshly. "Leader, stop. If Mother sees this, you're finished. Go hide until the ceremony." They bundled her and Leo into a car and disappeared into the night. Days later, the Blackwell mansion came alive with celebration. My coming-of-age party was grand enough to impress even our rivals. But as I stood among the glittering crowd, one person was missing. Phoebe. I pulled out my phone and called her. She answered quickly. "Where are you?" I asked. She gave a short laugh, the sound brittle. "Why?" "So I can stand there and watch your mother announce you're marrying Sarah." A pause followed, heavy with unspoken emotion. Then her voice softened, rough with restraint. "Damien, that's cruel. I want you here," I said firmly. "Are you coming or not?" Silence, then a quiet sigh. "Fine. I'll come." Moments later, a stir rippled through the ballroom. Sarah had arrived, arm in arm with Leo. Gasps spread through the crowd like wildfire. Whispers followed, eyes turning toward me with pity and curiosity. Maya, Sarah's second-in-command, hurried over, panic written all over her face. "Leader, what are you doing? This is Damien's party. Mother's about to announce your engagement. Step away from him." Sarah's lips curled into a smirk. Instead of moving, she pulled Leo even closer. "Engagement?" she said loudly, her tone dripping with scorn. I came here to tell Mother when I'm not in love with Damien Blackwell. Her gaze met mine, sharp and final, and I will never marry him. The room fell silent. My mother's smile froze, her expression turning unreadable. Sarah straightened her back, her voice clear and unwavering. After tonight, I'm cutting all ties with this family. I won't betray my heart just to please anyone. I'd rather die than marry a man I don't love. The other girls rushed to her side, whispering frantically, begging her to stop. But Sarah only clung tighter to Leo, whose eyes gleamed with triumph. His smug glance told me everything I won. I laughed quietly to myself. Sarah, even now, you never fail to disappoint. Then the lights dimmed and my mother stepped onto the stage. Thank you all for coming to celebrate my son's 18th birthday, she said smoothly. Tonight I also have an important announcement. The guests leaned forward, anticipating the engagement news. I hereby declare, my mother continued, that when I step down, the Blackwell family will be co-led by my son Damien and my 10th daughter, Phoebe. She will also become Damien's wife. The hall went dead silent. You could hear the collective intake of breath. And then, slicing through the hush like a blade, came a single, hoarse, furious and disbelieving. What? It was Sarah. Phoebe froze where she stood, her mind blank from what she had just heard. Sarah was the first to react. She jumped to her feet and rushed to the stage, disbelief twisting her face. Mother, you must be mistaken. How could it be, Phoebe? The ballroom fell utterly silent. Every head turned toward the confrontation. My mother met Sarah's outburst with an icy calm. Her voice, though measured, carried the weight of finality. If you're so eager to cut ties with the Blackwood family, then do so completely. Pack your things and leave. Our home is not a revolving door for you to walk in and out of as you please. The tone left no room for argument. This wasn't a simple scolding. It was a severing of bonds. The quiet fury behind her words made even me flinch. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught Leo's fleeting smile. He hadn't expected this, but was clearly pleased with how things had turned. Tugging lightly at Zara's arm, he whispered with a pathetic sort of tenderness, "This is good, Sarah. We can finally be together freely. It doesn't matter if you're no longer a Blackwood. We'll make our own life. Just us, two." Sarah recoiled from him as if his touch burned. Leo's hopeful grin faltered, confusion clouding his features. Ignoring him, Sarah turned on me, her eyes blazing red with fury. "Damien, is this some kind of revenge? Are you doing all this just to punish me? You can hate me all you want, but don't throw yourself into a fake marriage just to spite me. You don't even love her." Phoebe had quietly stepped closer by then, but she stopped when she heard those words. Her gaze met mine, clear, searching, wounded. She didn't speak, but her eyes asked the question her lips wouldn't. "Is it true? Did you choose me just to hurt her?" I gave Sarah a cold, humorless smile. "You flatter yourself, Sarah. Not everything revolves around you. Since when did I need your blessing to choose who I marry? I've made my decision. You have Leo, now take him, then go." Sarah's hand shot out, gripping my wrist. "We grew up together. You can't throw your life away like this. You don't love her. You'll never be happy. You love me," she cried, desperation seeping into her voice. "You're doing this to make me jealous. To make me regret everything." I couldn't help but laugh. The sound felt hollow, even to me. I shook her off and turned to Phoebe, whose eyes still shimmered with quiet confusion. Taking a breath, I pulled my arm free from Sarah's grasp and stepped toward Phoebe. I took her hand, and though her fingers tensed, she didn't pull away. Then, right in front of everyone, I leaned in and kissed her. The whispers that had been rising around us fell away into stunned silence. "Who said I don't like her?" I said evenly. Phoebe blinked in surprise, her usual composure breaking. For a brief moment, the sight of her caught off guard almost made me smile. Sarah's fury reached its limit. "Fine, Damien," she spat. "When you realize what a mistake this is, don't expect me to be there." Her lips curled into a bitter smirk. "Leo and I will be married soon. By then, it'll be too late to change your mind." Her words echoed once. Phoebe had once spoken, though the meaning was completely different. Phoebe's had been a quiet plea, a warning born from care. Sarah's was venom, pure and sharp. Sarah said nothing more. She dragged Leo with her and stormed out, her heels striking the marble like gunfire. When the doors closed behind them, Phoebe seemed to stir from a daze. "Damien," she murmured, her voice trembling. "Am I dreaming? Did you really choose me?" I reached out, brushing my thumb over her cool fingers. "What about now? Still feels unreal?" She stepped closer and wrapped her arms around me, her chin resting gently on my head. "It's real," she whispered. "You chose me." For the first time that night, the tension in my chest began to ease. Phoebe walked me back to my room afterward, her hand gripping mine tightly as if afraid I might disappear. At the door, she stopped. Her eyes held a seriousness that silenced everything else. "Damien, thank you," she said softly. I tilted my head. "For what?" "For choosing me," she replied, her voice almost breaking. "And for giving me a chance." I smiled faintly. "Then don't waste it." She nodded, determination flickering through her gentle expression. "I won't." A few days later, an envelope arrived. Sarah and Leo's wedding invitation. Phoebe and I were having lunch at a French restaurant. When they appeared in person, Phoebe leaned in to wipe a bit of sauce from the corner of my mouth, her movements calm and natural, like she'd done it 100 times before. My face warmed. "What are you doing?" "People are watching," I muttered. "Good," she said, smiling. "Let them see from the entrance." Sarah's expression darkened. Leo, clinging awkwardly to her arm, stepped forward and placed the invitation on our table. "Phoebe." "Mr. Blackwood," he said. "Sarah and I are getting married in 3 days. We'd be honored if you'd attend." I didn't even glance at it. "We're busy," I said evenly. "Phoebe and I have a trip planned. The tickets are already booked." Sarah let out a sharp laugh. "You're still sulking, I see. You won't even come to my wedding. Or are you afraid you'll lose control when you see me?" She leaned closer, her tone mocking. "You're not married yet. It's not too late to take it all back." Phoebe's hand tightened on my shoulder, but I didn't let Sarah's words linger. I turned to face her squarely. "Thank you for your concern," I said, my voice low but firm. "But I don't make choices I regret." Then I looked at Phoebe, and after spending these past few days with her, I continued, "I've realized something." I smiled faintly, watching Phoebe's eyes widen in surprise. "I think I'm starting to fall for her." Each word struck Sarah like a slap, and each one echoed as truth for Phoebe to hear. Sarah's face drained of color. "Fall for her," she repeated, laughing bitterly. "You've really become quite the performer, Damien. Let's see how long your little act lasts." She spat the words, then turned sharply, dragging Leo away with her. When they were gone, I turned to Phoebe. She stood quietly, unsure what to say. "Everything I said, I told her softly. I meant it." Her eyes widened, shimmering with a faint, hopeful light. "I am falling for you," I continued. "Choosing me wasn't revenge or some way to hurt her. It was my choice, and I don't regret it. So please don't let her get in your head." Phoebe broke then, just a little. She threw her arms around me and whispered against my chest. "I know. I believe you." Warmth spread through me, dissolving the last remnants of Sarah's shadow. 3 days later, I canceled our trip. We attended Sarah's wedding. It wasn't out of obligation. It was for Phoebe. I wanted to show her and everyone else that I was done with the past, that she was the only one who mattered now. Leo wore his usual smug grin, but Sarah's expression was cold, her gaze locked on us the entire time. She barely heard the officiant's words. She had just seen me lean in and kiss Phoebe, watched Phoebe blush and pull away shyly, and the sight had hollowed her out. A sharp unease settled in Sarah's chest. Maybe I really had fallen for Phoebe. But wasn't that what she claimed to want? Why, then, did it hurt so much? "Ms. Razels," the officiant repeated, "do you take Mr. Leo Vance as your husband?" Leo's smile faltered. His eyes flicked to me, venomous. Sarah blinked, snapping back to reality. "I do," she said stiffly. Phoebe's fingers intertwined with mine under the table, her grip firm and possessive. Since my confession, she had grown quietly protective, like she was afraid to lose me, too. "Do you regret it?" she asked under her breath. I shook my head. I just wanted to see if Sarah was as happy as she thought she'd be. "Looks like she's not." Phoebe didn't answer. Instead, she tilted my chin and kissed me gently. "Then stop looking at her," she whispered. Look at me. Heat rushed to my cheeks. Phoebe. Neither of us realized that Sarah was watching, her fury growing by the second. After the ceremony, she stormed into the dressing room, her pulse hammering. This was supposed to be her dream day, her fresh start. But all she felt was bitterness and regret. The memory of another lifetime, one where I had been, the one waiting for her at the altar, burned in her mind. Then, faintly, voices drifted from the next room. Leo, a woman's voice said. Now that you've married Sarah, don't lose your grip. Everything we did, those hired gunmen, the fake disappearance. It was all worth it. Sarah froze. Leo's calm reply followed. Relax, Mom. I did it all for her, to make sure she forgot about Damien completely. I just wanted her to love me. And I succeeded. The door burst open. Sarah stood in the doorway, trembling with rage. Say that again. She demanded. You staged everything. None of it was real. Leo's eyes widened in terror. Sarah, wait. It's not what you think. She lunged, her hand gripping his throat. Answer me. He clawed at her wrists, gasping. I only did it because I love you. I wanted to protect you. Her voice cut through the air, sharp and shaking. You liar? Sarah's slap rang out like a gunshot. You disgusting liar. Leo stumbled back, clutching his face. She turned to go, but he caught her arm in desperation. Sarah, where are you going? The guests. What about the reception? Sarah let out a brittle laugh, void of all warmth. Let me go. You fooled me, and now you'll face the consequences. As far as I'm concerned, this wedding never happened. Please, Sarah, Leo's mother begged. But Sarah shoved past them both. All she could think about was finding me to tell me the truth, to make me understand she had been deceived. She burst into the main hall, but our seats were empty. Grabbing a nearby waiter, she demanded, where did they go? They left early, Ma, the poor man stammered. Said they were heading out for their trip. 2 months passed before Phoebe and I came home. We traveled everywhere. Coastal cities, mountain lodges, old towns glowing under golden sunsets. Phoebe was a dream companion. Practical, thoughtful, always anticipating what I needed before I did. With her, the world felt new again, the chaos we left behind. Sarah, Leo, that cursed wedding became a distant memory. But the moment we landed back home, reality returned with a jolt. Phoebe and I were walking arm in arm, laughing about dinner plans, when a familiar voice cut through the crowd. Damien. I turned and saw her. Sarah stood there, disheveled, eyes red and wild. She ran to me, gripping my shoulders with frantic desperation. Damien, I was wrong. I was so wrong, she sobbed. I can't live without you. Please come back to me. Phoebe tried to pull her away. Let him go, Sarah. But Sarah only clung tighter. It was Leo. He lied about everything. The gunman, the kidnapping, all of it. He staged it all to turn us against each other. I was a fool. Please, Damien, she pleaded, tears streaming down her face. Give me another chance. I'll do anything. Phoebe stepped between us, her tone like steel. Stay away from my fiancé. The word hit Sarah like a dagger. She glared at Phoebe, her voice trembling with fury. You have nothing to do with this. He doesn't love you. He loves me. She turned to me again, desperate. Tell her, Damien. Tell her you still feel something for me. I know you do. I stared at her, silent for a moment. Then I spoke quietly. You're wrong, Sarah. She froze. You're wrong because you're still blaming everyone but yourself, I continued. Leo may have lied, but you chose to believe him. You chose to leave me. Her lips trembled. Your love, I said slowly, is selfish and it's shallow. Sarah opened her mouth, but no words came out. Damien, she whispered. I shook my head. No, Sarah, I stopped loving you a long time ago. It was as if all the strength drained out of her body. She staggered back, leaning against a pillar, her eyes vacant. No, she breathed. That can't be true. Please, just one more chance. Phoebe's hand tightened in mine. She stepped forward and said firmly, I think he's made himself clear. I nodded. It's over, Sarah. And if you remember what happened before our past life, you should already know why. I'll never forgive you. Sarah's shoulders slumped. The last flicker of hope in her eyes went dark. She gave me one final, broken look, then turned and walked away without another word. When she was gone, I looked at Phoebe and smiled. Nothing had changed. "Let's go to that restaurant you mentioned," I said. She smiled back, her fingers lacing through mine. "Okay." Her hand was warm, her gaze full of light. And for the first time in what felt like forever, I finally felt free.